All right, today we're talking about something that goes way beyond just prompting. We're diving into a much smarter way to build AI you can actually count on. It's called context engineering. So, let's get right into it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a problem that, well, I'm pretty sure every single one of us has faced.
You know the feeling, right? You ask an AI a question, and what you get back is brilliant. It's confident, it's well-written, it sounds so convincing, and it's completely, utterly wrong. We call this an AI hallucination, and honestly, it's the #1 reason we can't fully trust these things for important stuff.
So what gives? For a while, everyone thought the answer is prompt engineering. Just get better at asking the question. But that's kind of missing the forest for the trees. The real issue isn't how you ask. It's that the AI is missing the key ingredient, verifiable actual facts. Without them, it's just making a very educated guess. And that brings us to the most important point here. It's not the AI model that's broken. No, it's that it was sent into a task without the right information. It didn't have the evidence, didn't know the rules, didn't have the tools. It's not a model failure, it's a context failure.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's time to shift our whole mindset. We need to stop obsessing over asking the perfect question and start focusing on providing the perfect evidence.
And that is the heart of what we call context engineering. Think of it as building a support system for the AI. It's the art and science of giving the AI the right instructions, the right tools, and the right evidence at the exact moment it needs them so it can do its job right, every single time.
This really clears things up. Look, prompt engineering is totally fine for simple stuff, right? Like write a poem about a cat. The AI already knows what a cat is. But what about the complex work, the multi-step tasks that businesses rely on, using private data, where you absolutely have to be able to check its work? That's a whole different ballgame. That's where you need a real system, and that's context engineering.
So let's use an analogy here. The best way to think about this is like we're packing a toolkit for our AI agent before we send it off to do a job.
And look, the user's prompt, that's just one tiny little wrench in this massive toolkit. A real context toolkit has the whole shebang. Its core instructions, its memory of what you've talked about, a knowledge base of facts it can trust, actual tools it can use like APIs, and all the background info, like who the user is and what they're allowed to see. If you send it out with just a prompt, it's basically working blind.
But wait, here's a really critical point. You might think, hey, these new AIs have huge context windows, let's just dump everything in. That's actually a terrible idea. Think about your own toolbox. If you just throw every random screw and bolt you own in there, you'll never find what you need. It's the same for an AI. The goal isn't bigger context, it's smarter, more organized context.
And this is the perfect way to organize it. The context pyramid. It's so smart. At the very bottom, you've got the stuff that never changes, the AI's core purpose, its safety rules, the foundation. In the middle, you put the stuff for the specific task at hand. And right at the very tip top, the most immediate thing, what the user just said. This layered approach is what keeps the AI from getting lost in the noise.
Okay, so the toolkit is packed and organized. Now for the fun part. Let's see how the AI actually uses all this stuff to get work done. It all comes down to this really elegant 3-step loop. First, it thinks, or reasons. It looks at the goal, looks at its tools, and makes a plan. Step 2, it acts. It actually does something, like calling a tool. And third, it observes. It analyzes the result of its action, and that informs its next move. And it just keeps going through that loop. Reason, act, observe, until the job is finished. Now here's the secret to making that loop truly powerful. You can't just give the AI a list of random facts. That's not enough. It needs to see the connections between them. It doesn't just need a list of addresses, it needs a map that shows how all the roads connect.
And that's why the kind of knowledge base you give it is so important. A lot of systems use something called vector search. It's good at finding things that sound similar. But a knowledge graph, that's next level. It shows relationships. It says, here's your query, and here's everything it's connected to, along with the paths. It gives the AI that map we were talking about.
Okay, this is all cool tech, but let's get down to brass tacks. Why does any of this actually matter? What's the real payoff of doing all this work?
While the payoff is huge. First off, you get AI you can actually rely on, way fewer hallucinations. It can tackle complex jobs that require multiple steps. And this is a big one. You can actually explain why the AI made a decision because you can trace it back to the exact facts it used. Plus, you build a system once and reuse it, instead of getting stuck in that endless nightmare of writing one-off prompts for every little thing.
And get this might sound backwards, but it's true. By being super strategic and only giving the AI the minimum viable context for each step, just enough to do the job, you actually make the whole system faster and cheaper. Less junk means better focus, which means better performance and lower costs. It's a total win-win.
This quote really nails it. Look, pretty soon, all the big AI models are going to be more or less the same. They're becoming a commodity. The real secret sauce, the thing that will make you stand out, isn't going to be which LLM you pick. It's going to be how smart your context and orchestration layer is. That's where the magic happens.
So it leaves you with a really interesting thought, doesn't it? Maybe the future of AI isn't about what it knows, but how well it can connect the dots. Because what we're doing with context engineering isn't just about giving the AI a bigger memory, it's about giving it a fundamentally better way to think.